Hi everyone, welcome back. Josh Beatar, Alex Goldman here from the stands, and today we're very luckily joined by the man who is just opening up a gym in Bali. The one championship commentator, Gianni Subba. Gianni, thank you so much for your time this afternoon, man. It looks like you're in the gym at the moment,
I'm
but
not.
look,
I'm
but
actually I'm actually in the mall right now. I have to go around to pick some stuff
okay,
up for
okay,
tomorrow.
nice, nice. Well, I just wanted to ask first things first. How are you? I mean, obviously it's been a very busy time opening up a gym, but how have things been with you?
First of all, I'm very happy to meet you guys. But it's been good, man. It's been very busy, but I have a good team behind me going back and forth. Last year was a big year. I had to go every week from Bali to Bangkok every Thursday, coming back usually Saturday. But this year I'm kind of taking a back seat, putting more effort into growing the gym this year.
Yeah, definitely. And I just saw, obviously I'll let everyone know, you are opening up a gym. It's called The Block. We just had Khan Offley on. He was repping the shirt
Yeah,
as well.
my
Um,
man.
and and I just want to ask you, give me a bit about the gym. And I suppose the reason for opening it because I've checked out your Instagram quite a bit, and you are very much a martial artist at your core. I feel. Yeah, I feel like that's the correct thing to say about you. You seem like you want to give back, and it says it in your bio. You want to give back to martial arts. So I guess what is the reason for opening up the gym?
Well, there's a multitude of reasons, but I think we got to start at the core. I started martial arts at 9 years old. Always been a martial artist. Fighting was something that came naturally. I did never ever thought I wanted to fight and make a living from fighting. It just happened because I wanted to test myself and it became a career, being able to fight for one championship at a high level and now going towards commentary. But I just spoke to someone about this the other day. The whole reason with opening a gym, besides helping people achieve their dreams, becoming world champions, whatever it is, it's also goes back to the time where I was 15 years old. I was in Salt Lake City and I was training at this first gym I ever trained at when I was in Salt Lake City. It was a gym called Paul Evans Martial Arts. They had jujitsu, boxing, kickboxing, everything over there. And I used to train all the time, but one day I couldn't afford the fees anymore. And I stopped going. But one of my good friends, he stopped me in school one day. He's like, hey, why'd you stop going to the gyms? Man, I really just couldn't afford it. And then the coach said to just come and don't worry about the training and went back. I went back, started training 3 times a day, every day, and it kickstarted what I have now. So now I'm in a position to have my own space, to have the ability to give back to people who one day could eventually make a living out of it, which is
Yeah.
extremely difficult to do outside of like becoming a fighter. A lot of ups and downs. We have a staff of really experienced guys that could guide people along the way. And also we have a lot more resources than what I had, when I was 15, 16 years old. So it's a great opportunity not only to help people become world champions, but also give back to people that don't have that ability yet.
What's up, guys? It's Josh here from the stands, and look, I know you're in the middle of a good little interview that we're currently doing, but I want to take a second of your time just to give a quick little shout out to today's sponsor, TrainAid. Obviously, they're big supporters of us, like we are of them, and today they're sponsoring this video. And look, I want to let you guys know about a little product they do, their premium product, TrainAid Hydration. It's the best hydration formula on the market, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. And look, if you don't believe me, ask guys like Israel Adesanya, Alexander Volkanovski, Leon Edwards. You ever heard of these guys? I mean, they're the top athletes in the world. And they're all taking TrainAid Hydration. It really is the number one formula in the world for hydration. And in the summer months here in Australia, I mean, it's something that I think everyone should be taking. And TrainAid have been very nice to give us a discount code, a very healthy discount code as well. I mean, it's a nice little discount code. If you use the code FTS15 at the checkout, they will give you 15% off. We'll leave a link to their website in this description of this video. And yeah, check them out, guys. Please support them because they are supporting us. Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Johnny, I'm curious, what is your biggest expectation as a coach for new students that you're going to have walking into the gym?
It's very different, man. We're coming from the perspective of owning not just a gym, but a destination gym. What we want to do is cater to the tourists, but also the expats that live. It's different to a gym, say in a city. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're running it as like a Thai Muay Thai, a Bang Tao, where people travel to come and do the training camps with us. And we also have the expats and the local people that live there. So the demographic is quite different to, you would say, a regular gym, right? And it all depends. Like if you're a regular person just coming in to try martial arts for the first time, our goal is for you to enjoy it, because at the core of it, I love martial arts. If I didn't have a gym, if I didn't fight, and if I wasn't doing commentary, I would still be training in a gym somewhere, you know? So we want to give people that experience and show people why you want to be a part of the community. Because for me, when I was 9 years old, not 9 years old, 9 years old, I started martial arts, and I never felt like I belonged anywhere. You know, me coming from a mixed race background, my dad's Nepalese, my mom's Malaysian, never really felt like I belonged anywhere until I went to a martial arts gym where everyone was equal, and it gave me the confidence, it gave me the courage to become a better person. And I think that's what a gym is. It's a community of people that outside of what you do everyday life, when you get in there, everyone's equal, you know? So it's that. And we want that for people, the regular people. And then if you're a fighter wanting to go into a bigger stage, we have that experience. You know, myself, I've been fighting for one championship a long time. I've been offered to fight for the belt. I've been fortunate enough to coach world championship fights in both MMA and in K1. Our network of people is so big now in so many different organizations. So we have the ability now through our years of experience to help people that want to go in that direction as well, you know, the professionals.
Definitely. Gianni, what was and I had a look, like I said, a look at your Instagram, and I noticed there was a lot of photos of Bruce Lee on there. And I kind of want to know, what was your introduction to MMA and combat sports growing up, like you mentioned, and was Bruce Lee an influence for you?
100%. I would say Bruce Lee is the reason I started doing martial arts in general. And it was not because of the movies. The movies I actually really got into when I was a teenager. But when I was a kid, it was my uncle who was a big karate fan, and he used to have like Bruce Lee posters everywhere. My mom used to show me pictures of him like punching the wall, like he's old school, you know. And I think that was the guy, that was his idol. And then through him, to be honest, I never wanted to do any martial arts when I was like 5, 6 years old. Just wanted us to go into like wushu and whatever was around at the time in KL, but I never really wanted to do it until my uncle really forced us. He was like, hey, you really got to put the kid into it. My sister's a black belt in Taekwondo. My brother's a professional fighter, fights to one championship. And myself, like, we all got into it because of Bruce Lee.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You know, Gianni, one thing I want to know is, coaching, it can be such a thankless job sometimes. Sometimes students don't appreciate all the work you guys do outside of class. People come, they go, they disappear for a few months and don't say anything. So, that can, it can make it difficult to keep pushing through sometimes, I'd imagine. And, I'm curious, how do you sort of navigate, those emotions where it maybe might get a bit frustrating sometimes, how thankless of a job coaching truly is?
That's a really tough one. I think for me, having the experience I have in fighting, I understand that sometimes, if you don't feel like the gym where you're at is the best place for you, sometimes you got to leave, you got to find a place that really works for you. For me, I try my best to help people get to where they want to go, because I understand what it takes. I understand. I've been around world champions. I fought at a high level. I understand what effort it requires us to get there. But I also understand that fighting is a difficult thing and it's a small window. Sometimes you got to make the choices that you need to make. And I think if you really care about somebody, sometimes like you got to let them go. It's difficult to do, especially like you talked about, when you invest a lot of time and energy into it. But like I said, if you come at it from a perspective of, look, we're all just martial artists on a path, then you can just hope that you're part of a journey, and then can only like hope that you take them as far as you can. And then, you learn and you grow along the way.
Definitely. Gianni, we've had the pleasure in the past of chatting with a guy like Mitch Chilson, who I think is one of the best guys in the sport.
He's the man.
And
He's the man.
He is. And I think something I want to know from you, being such a guy that's close to him and being able to watch these fights and call these fights together, what's that like, being able to call those fights and being, having such a close eye, on these fights and being so close, during these fights?
Man, to be honest, me and Mitch go way back. My first fight with one championship was, I think, the 9th show they ever did, one championship, Rise of Kings, and Mitch was on the same card. So I've actually fought on the same card as Mitch. Goes to show, like, Mitch, an old man, so I'm getting up there. But yeah, obviously, in terms of commentary, the dude's so experienced. Mitch has been doing it, I think, for like 8, 9 years now. He's really got his voice. He really is like the face of one championship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in terms of commentating with him, he's such a pro. He's such a veteran now that when I first started, I think 2019 one day because Chavello got sick, so I popped in, and ever since then, hosting the One Warrior Series, One Hero Series, doing a couple One Championship shows. Mitch has always been a teacher. You know, I think a teacher is a correct word. He's never ever shy or not willing to give you tips on how to get better. And sometimes he messages me like, "Hey, did you watch the show last week?" Because sometimes he hosts the show, and sometimes now through the experience that I have now, I get to host some of the shows when Mitch is not there, when he's doing the international shows. He messages me like, "Hey, you got any tips?" I was like, "No, you asking me for tips." You know what I mean? So he's a
Yeah.
real humble guy, and I think really goes to show like his qualities as also a martial artist as well. He's always still training, still learning. Very humble guy.
Yeah. Gianni, you talked about it earlier. You've coached at the highest level in MMA, in K1. You've fought obviously yourself as well. But I'm curious, how did doing commentary allow you to improve your own technical understanding of the sport?
That's a great question. For me, I love the sport. I watch a lot of tape. I watch a lot of film. I think it comes from my brother as well, Keanu. Keanu Subba is a huge film study guy. So he always pushes me to like learn more. I watch this, you know. Sometimes after the show, so we host a show that starts from we go around 2:30 p.m. to the stadium. We do our rehearsals and then we break and the show starts 7:30. We probably get back to the hotel like 1 a.m. Sometimes after the show, I'm still looking at breakdown videos. You know what I mean? And it's not something that is work to me. I think it's just something that I love to do. And watching fights, being so close to all these high level fights, you only learn. You know, there's so many different camps. I've been able and lucky enough to go through many different great Muay Thai gyms. Last year, I was able to go to PK Sanchai, Phuket Fight Club. Where else? Sword Japan, who's on a tear right now. All these different gyms. I'm sorry, I can't remember all of them right now, but just to go and see their systems, how they run a gym, what their coaches are doing. Also, Super Bowl training camp, I was able to go recently as well, just to learn. You know, not only as a coach but also as a student. And I think that helps a lot going into the commentary because then you really see, okay, these are the game plans, these are the coaches. Why are they so successful? Maybe some gyms can learn from them. You know what I mean? But I think the biggest thing I've seen over the last year has been that there's a shift in kind of like an opening of the mind in all the Thai gyms where they're now open to a nutritionist. They're open to a strength and conditioning. They're open to peaking. They're opening to phases, to blocks and training camp. A lot of things that they really didn't have before, while still keeping that core traditional 2 kicks, double kicks, 50 kicks. You know what I mean? Your single repetition stuff that you can never change because it's just shown time and again that it's a working formula. But if you tweak it and you add new school stuff to it, that's how you get better, you know. And I think it's really cool to see them open up to the idea of why are the foreigners sometimes doing better than the Thais, you know. I think for the Thais, it's a huge topic last year of like, oh, the Thais are not doing well now. The foreigners are beating all the Thais, but it's not. I think it's just, you can say that a lot of the foreigners have a better strength and conditioning program. A lot of them, like, as you can see from the body tone, and they're just have a little bit of an edge in their strength and conditioning. So now they're trying to remove that edge and keep them on top. I think it's been really cool to be a part of and to witness.
Definitely, man. Couple of last questions from us, man. We won't keep it too long, but obviously, One Championship has broken into the US market recently, and One Championship has a deal with Channel 7 here in Australia, a broadcasting deal. And I don't know. I really want to know: is there ever a chance you think that One Championship would look to break into the Australian market, because they're obviously an incredible, talented, bunch of fighters down here that could get taken instead of going to these. That could get taken from the UFC and could go to these other avenues. There's some great guys that John Wayne Parr, he fought at One Championship and he's been pushing for it. Is that something you think we could ever see?
I think so. I think Chachuya spoke about it before, going to the whole Australasia market, New Zealand, Australia. Such a huge crowd, like so many like loyal and passionate Muay Thai fans in Australia, outside of MMA as well. But even in MMA, there's so many great guys that doing well in other organizations. I think it's just a matter of time. But going to Australia would be huge. I mean, obviously, like you said, so many talented guys going through, and there's a lot of great ambassadors of the sport over there. I don't think it'll really take long, but I think this year the focus has really been to break into the U.S. market with the Prime deal. I think that the new TV deal with Australia is going to be huge. Obviously, another incentive for one to get into Australia. And yeah, man, I'd love to go and witness it. Australian fans are a rowdy.
Yeah, for sure. Gianni, last question for me. You kind of talked about it earlier that, we've seen some small tweaks in Muay Thai, while still keeping the traditional core foundations of the sport there, which, I think is important as well for, Muay Thai, which has such a cultural and historical significance, but what do you think, would need to shift a little bit in Muay Thai to make it, up there with MMA in Western countries? So, that your household names in Muay Thai become international superstars that, your grandma down the street's going to at least heard of.
Mhm. I think it'll just take time. If you look at it over the last 12 months, it already has taken a huge shift. There's so many more followers already. I think the product itself is absolutely amazing. If you watch a one Friday fight show, or even like the big main shows, when it's like, for example, who was it last week? Always amazing fights.
Superlek and
Superlek and Takeru, right? That fight, for example, that's kickboxing at the highest level. It was an amazing fight. A lot of drama behind it. Joe Natawat and Luke Lissay, that was an insane fight. There's so many fights that just up there, and I think it's just a matter of time. I think going to the US will be a huge eye opener, just to bring that level of striking in the small gloves. Like, as much as I love MMA striking, when you look at, like, for example, DDP and Sean Strickland, and you look at one of the Thai guys fighting, like, the level is just completely different, right? The only difference is it's MMA. There's more takedowns, and there wasn't even many takedowns in that fight. So imagine bringing that into a US audience. I think people would really take it up, but it'll take time. But it's definitely in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Gianni, thank you so much for joining us today, man. It's been an absolute privilege to talk to you. We really appreciate you taking the time as well to sit down in the mall, have a chat to us, man. But look, man, wishing you all the best with, your gym. Honestly, I hope it all goes well for you, man, and that you can give back to the sport, as you say in your bio, that you love so much, man. We'd love to talk to you again in the future.
100%.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. Thanks,
Thank
brother.
you very much,
100%.
man.
Hey, you boys got to come check it out one time.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
not
of
that
course.
far away at all.
Khan's there,
Hop, skip, and a jump.
too. Khan's there too, so
Yeah,
we got an
exactly.
incentive. Definitely.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
brother.
man.
Appreciate it.